Spots on the bench beside you, the guy who gave you the start in the National Hockey League.
I thought we were going to do this together. Where is Barry?
How emotions coming into this game against a guy who was really important in your career?
You know, he's a good friend. He obviously, we worked together for 10 years, and you know, we know each other fairly well. You know, he's a competitor. He's very prepared. I've learned a lot from him, and you know, hopefully going to bring that forward and continue it. But when you make friends in this game, and that's an important part of the game, I think that it's, you know, that stays forever. So I feel fortunate that, you know, our paths have crossed.
Peter, you as the lead voice here for the time being, are you going to change any of the defensive systems or anything you guys have been doing earlier in the year?
I think that, you know, when you have one day to go in there, there's so many small tweaks you can do. As we go forward, there may be things that we may talk about changing, but right now, when you've got the group of people, and I talked about it a little bit yesterday, it's important that the team regains its resolve and attitude about coming forth and playing and being prepared to play, but playing together as a group with some focus and some energy. You know, if you go in the first day and you make it all about change, that's what you're going to get, a little bit of a confusion, a little bit of a unfocused attitude. So we want to make sure we're focused, we're ready to play, and that was what we wanted to do. You know, going into the situation, nobody's happy when this happens. When a coach gets removed, it's part of the fraternity. I'm not happy about it. I see, though it's giving you an opportunity, it's still not a happy day for everybody, and everybody feels a little responsible for that, and so everyone should. And so it's important, I think, now that we do what we have to do to prepare for the next game moving forward. We've got half a season, and we have to make sure we're going to do something positive with that.
You did mix up the lines a bit. What are you looking for there?
Well, I think that you're just trying to get them on the right same page, and sometimes, you know, we've been doing that a little bit, and you know, ultimately you're going to want to try to get some consistency with that. You know, we're looking for consistency with play. In order to do that, you have to try to get a little bit of consistency with lines, but right now, sometimes you have to make some little tweaks. It just allows people to say, you know, I've got an opportunity, and everyone has to have a fresh attitude to say, I'm going forward and I got this. They feel disappointed that this has happened. Now you have to feel, okay, we have something to do. We're going to take some responsibility and do something positive.
If you can make radical changes in one day, what will we expect to see over time, and how will it be different over time?
Well, there's been some positive hockey being played before. You know, it's not like you know, the team has not played well all the time. The consistency has been a big problem. So what we're looking for is that resolve and that attitude to say we're going to show up every day and try to get that 60-minute hockey game. We won games in that stretch of 10-1-1 where we played 40 minutes and, you know, didn't play that whole game, and you got good goaltending. And we won some games in those situations. And I expect that we're going to lose games where we've played well for 45, for 50 minutes, and sometimes that's the game. And then getting your team to play consistently for a whole 60 minutes is the challenge. And most teams don't do it. If you talk to their coach, most coaches would say we didn't play a whole game. But, you know, we did the little things. We bend, we didn't break, and we did some good things. Our good goaltending and our special teams maybe won that game for us.
Peter, when the white noise can be as loud as it is in this city, particularly after what happened yesterday, and the criticism can be on your star player what it was, what is your message to Phil?
You take the white noise, as you will say, and you take it away. I mean, we have a sign up, and we talk about our own internal room, and that's the blue noise, and that's important to our team. There's a lot of pressure, and there's a lot of focus on what happens every day, especially in this market. So we understand that, they understand that, but in order to move forward, you can't be worried about all the things that are being said or not being said, what's happened or how much time or any things that are become a selfish or individual attitude. You have to think about what is best for the group right now.
What do you expect from Phil then?
I expect him to put his best foot forward and be working as hard as he can to show some examples of that he can play hard and can do those things, and we've seen that. So I expect him to be part of the group and do what I expect every guy in this team now to put forth his best game, and to be trying to do that consistently.
Is the white noise, though, any more difficult to deflect when any one of us in here can give our opinion on what we see on the ice, but it's Ron Wilson, the guy who knows these guys intimately, giving the criticism that he did. I would think that there's some truth behind those words. But does that make it more difficult now to go forward with these guys?
You don't talk. I can't talk about what Ron knows. I wasn't here. For me to talk about what Ron Wilson knows, and he's a good hockey man. I mean, it is what it is. I can only talk about what I have control over, and what I have control over is today and yesterday. We came in, we practiced, we had a good meeting, we had good practice, we had a focus. This morning, I think the guys are in a good place right now mentally, and they have to move forward, and that's what we can control. For me to worry about, just like I had my message, was for them to not have to worry about what you're saying, what everyone else is saying in the media, what's blogged and what's in the papers and the radio and the TV. It's just going to make you crazy. So just worry about what your teammates and what's happening on the ice. Worry about what we're doing as a team as far as our systems and as far as our attitude. It's always been in this game, your best gift you can give your teammates is your attitude. If you're not playing the game as a team, if you're not playing the game, if you're playing it individually, you're going to get in trouble. And what we need is everybody on the same page. We need a resolve that says it's our time to do something with this next second half of the season.
Peter, are you confident that with you get the Leafs on a bit of a roll, that you can lose that interim tag and be named a full-time head coach?
I don't worry about that. I was in the same role last year, and the same thing happened. Again, that's the same thing that I'm asking the players not to worry about. I'm not going to worry about what they're going to do or what they're going to say. And when it's time, if they feel like it's warranted, they're going to come to me and say, okay, that's what's happening. Until that time, I can only worrying about preparing players, making sure they're feeling like that they're in the best light and best opportunities to play their best game. And I mean, that's what I can control, and that's what I can try to focus on and try to get them to focus on. And just at the end of the day, you just hopefully, we're in the right place and we're in the playoffs doing things we want to do.
Peter, some of the players have said that you're a good communicator. Can you explain how you communicate with the players? The elite players and sort of the other players. How do you communicate with these players?
Well, I think that there's a lot of ways you can communicate with players. I mean, you have to make them feel like it's okay to talk to them. My door is open. They can come in and have their opinions. I can tell them what's going on. I can have them an opportunity to say what they want. They're not feeling like my thumb is on top of them. They're feeling like we're in this together. And I'm going to be very blanket and very clear about what they have to do. And when they make mistakes, they have to be understand that that's part of it. I'm going to be very clear about if they do something that the team doesn't want them to do, that's something they have to correct.
You address some lineup issues with Carrick, Keg, Naz's health, how far the injured guys are away?
Well, Nazi skated today, and we're hopefully that he's going to talk to the trainers in there. We're hopeful that he's going to be available for us tonight, and if that's the case, Sammy's come up, and that gives us that extra forward. So and then the middle, with Holland being out and Nazi being out, up the middle was damaged for us, if you will, because we didn't have that fourth centerman, if you will. We were using wingers to play center in the last couple games. So. Sammy's there and he's ready to go. He's been up before. He's excited about being here, and our younger players and our development of our younger players is going to help us.
Peter, yesterday Cody Franzen said he thought the players needed more accountability amongst themselves. Is that something you agree with?
I think it's absolutely imperative that players hold themselves accountable. When I send a message and our coaching staff sends a message that this is what we expect, this is what goes on, when you're in the room, when you're on the bench, it's imperative that the players are going to be sending that same message, that they're repeating that message, that they're saying the same things. They're on board with that. That leadership is there. And that leadership isn't just the guys who are wearing C's and A's. Leadership comes from everyone in that room, and they have to feel that way. They have to feel like they have a voice, that they can say the same things, they can stand up, and they don't have to feel like they're stepping on toes.